retro public access logo introduces the show Straight Talk with host to be denounced. Seated at one end of the discussion table is our host. He's the worldly embodiment of public access television and seemingly a close relative of Charlie Rose. Barely visible and seated in a tiny director's chair across from our host is our imperceptibly small guest, a real Doritos chip. As we angle on our host,
our next guest is the best-selling author of Faceless, Confessions of a Snack Time Icon. Welcome to the show.
We cut to a CU of the Dorito, which is naturally faceless. An awkward beat of silence. The host has never had a guest so tough to crack.
In this book, you share your pain and struggles with anonymity.
Another shot of the faceless Dorito.
Do you resent your Doritos peers or fellow Doritos?
We cut to another shot of the expressionless chip. Our host's frustration begins to show. He ponders his next question but cannot continue. Looking off-screen to a producer.
I'm sorry, I can't do this. I mean, I'm interviewing a chip who wrote a book.
An assistant director enters a wide shot to quell the moment as the host abruptly stands, ripping his microphone from his shirt. We hear the ruffling of his coat through the mic as he storms away. We cut to the Dorito one last time. It finally speaks.
What a dick. Dorito
That's what it says.
The host unwinds backstage with the bag of Doritos. He raises his chip to his mouth, oblivious to the please.
I don't get this.
Oh, because it's saying, no, don't eat me, don't
Like
eat
he's
me.
eating
Oh,
shit.
No. Right.
Funny.
Okay, is that it?
That's
All
it.
right. Now, as with all comedy, and as with all commercials, there's a lot of notes here. I'm going to ask you guys, because I have my thoughts, but I'm going to ask you two guys. Okay, first of all, Eric, what self-critique would you give over that particular first cold reading there?
Oh, there needs you much more energy and needs you more fun to listen to. I was reading it because I was
that's
hearing
great.
the words.
That's fine. Okay, what do you think you did very right? Put your paper down a
I
little.
played it straight
Right, and why is that important?
because it's not a joke up till it's a joke.
Okay, now what notes
It's
would
a
you
joke on
have?
itself.
Yeah. What notes would you have there?
Let's see.
Because this is going to be a commercial you're definitely going to see on the air. Let's see let's pretend you're casting it. What would you want to see more or less of from this guy?
Well, like more energy would be helpful because like a talk show host, you know,
Right.
and I maybe just like flow, but that could have been due to the fact that I was like reading in between.
Right.
But flow, like how it, like you know, a talk
Right.
show, it continue. It's just like a flow. There's
Yeah.
no
Good point. You have to
choppiness.
be the alpha. That's right. Okay, now here are my notes. Ready? First of all, it's something I've told you before and that we always remember. When you want to speed up, especially when you're playing a newscaster or whatever, is the time to slow down. You can never be too slow. If you think you're really slow, you're just going to be deeper and more interesting. So always go slow. It helps with articulation, everything else. And also, if you're supposed to be the interviewer, you own that space. You're the interviewer, so you're comfortable. And the slower you go, the more time you take, the more you signal comfort. The other thing is a point that Eric brought up. It's very important. There's only a few types of comedy, and I see you doing a lot of comedy, okay? And him too, because at this stage in a career, often a dramatic actor like Alec Baldwin, whenever they segue into comedy, juxtapositional comedy is
Leslie
one of
Nielsen's the best example there is.
yeah. Okay, juxtapositional comedy is one of the most important. When I studied with Commedia dell'arte, which is a really well-known training system up in Humboldt County and all over the world, they passed around to the group of actors, and there was veterans there and young people, and a very elaborate mask. And almost everybody who put it on played into the mask. They did things because the mask looked very peculiar. And a couple of people just put the mask on, and that made us laugh because the setup was already there. So he needs to imagine that he's interviewing, former President Clinton or President Obama.
Henry Kissinger.
And then what's funny is it's a chip. But let us be responsible for finding that funny. If he acts like he's interviewing a chip, we lose the joke until he then realizes and has a tantrum about it. And then it's funny. And he did a good thing on instinct, which is he's saying, I'm interviewing a chip. So it has to sound like you're going to say something else, right? That's the other type of comedy. It's when you take a swerve, when it just throws us a curveball, because it throws us off balance, which makes us gasp, laugh, cry. It will cause laughter if it's funny. So if we think he's about to say, I'm interviewing the most important important subject I've ever interviewed. And instead, what comes out of his mouth is, I'm interviewing a chimp. Then it becomes a joke, right? So that's the other important thing. And again, now he has certain things to do for his preparation. He needs to go on YouTube and watch Charlie Rose a lot, watch the clothes and everything else, because he's going to have to really suggest Charlie Rose to them tomorrow, Monday when he goes in on this. And he's going to we have to decide about props. And you and I have talked about props a little. How much to prop it up? Does he bring a bag of baked Doritos because he won't eat the fried kind? And my answer to this in this particular case would be yes. Just because he should, and as a matter of fact, we'll get some after you leave today. So he is he's turned this into the entire commercial, the whole production. It's comfortable and he's completely done it. So when he goes in that room and there's nothing there for support, he's embodying that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in this case, the stage directions, you setting the scene and making it so Eric can picture it all in his mind. It's very, very important.
Huge.
And the other thing that's interesting is this is a guy who's been nominated for an Oscar and 5 Golden Globes or whatever. And yet, three, okay, and this is a commercial, and so you'd think, piece of cake, whatever. That's never the case. A young actor like you should never think that this ever gets any easy. It's not automatic ever.
Yeah, don't ever relax.
It's
Here we go.
work. It's work.
So, let's
try
set
it
the
again?
stage again. Yeah.
Okay. All right, do you want Adam to watch or read?
It's up to him. It's up to you. Chief.
Well, it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Either way.
Okay, read.
Okay, read. Okay,
Set it.
really,
Here we go.
really set the scene for us. Let's really see it. And Eric, don't forget to slow down. And do you know who Charlie Rose is?
Of course I do.
Okay, so really
Watch
think
this.
be wearing not your gym clothes, but the suit and the thing. Okay.
Retro